The substance we're going to be talking about today is methane. Now, what is methane? Methane is the simplest hydrocarbon there is. It consists of one carbon molecule and four hydrogen molecules. Now, of course, this is a greenhouse gas and is invisible, odorless, flammable, and is produced by natural means, meaning coming from the air, and artificial means through the combustion in cars and more examples. Methane is in fact extremely dangerous to the health of the entire globe, and it traps dozens the amount of heat energy than carbon dioxide alone, which is considering the effects of carbon dioxide, which we all know. Scientists have equated over 25% of the climate change entirely towards this one substance alone. These facts make it reasonable why this is one of the top 50 most dangerous substances on Earth.
Although methane is mostly produced with the breaking down of plant matter as part of the carbon cycle, a lot of it is also produced by humans. The three most infamous sources of methane pollution in the GTA are landfills, which process millions of tons of garbage annually, releasing significant amounts of methane and other harmful gases, leaks from natural gas pipelines throughout the city, and finally, municipal wastewater management releases enormous amounts of methane during the breaking down of sewage and organic waste.
What are the health impacts of methane? Globally, methane emissions provoke extreme weather conditions, creating a bipolar forecast of weather. Natural disasters include contagious infection diseases and heat and smog that brings about health risk, all of which are on the rise due to these emissions alone. Methane plus human equals cancer, heart disease, and strokes? Well, yes. With methane floating in the air we breathe, methane directly interferes with the body's function. Smaller effects include rapid breathing, rapid heart rate, fatigue. Major effects include degrading lungs, ruining hearts, and twisting the functions of our blood cells, causing cancer. Methane doesn't release from emissions by itself, but as a package, which includes other toxic pollutants, making the effects more rapid, and the release of these invisible gases is more drastic than we can see, feel, touch, smell, or hear. As methane works behind the scenes, striking each and every time, eventually landing a critical hit that causes one of the above effects, that being the degrading of hearts or twisting the body's function, methane doesn't only affect the environment around us, but it affects the bodies that we possess.
Methane acts like a blanket that traps solar radiation from sunlight and as a result heats up the atmosphere. Its effects on global warming are over 84 times that of carbon dioxide per molecule. The heat trapped by greenhouse gases melts ice caps, causes droughts in dry areas, and increases sea levels around shorelines, causing massive floods. Alongside all of that, it degrades the protective ozone layer in the upper atmosphere, while at the same time it promotes the production of harmful ozone in the lower atmosphere by reacting with other pollutants to produce it. Ozone in the lower atmosphere is the primary component of smog, which kills over 4.2 million people annually. Not only that, but at the end of its lifespan, methane breaks down into carbon dioxide and water vapor, two other harmful greenhouse gases.
Methane is a greenhouse gas that is classified as a simple asphyxiant. Now, what is that? A simple asphyxiant is a gas that can become extremely concentrated to a point that it pushes out oxygen in the air we breathe, or saturated. The government set exposure limits of these gases, which include methane, based on the amount of oxygen we breathe in the air rather than the amount of methane directly. Now, if the air is below 19.5% oxygen in that area is classified as a hazard zone. Now, the reason that these limits are based on oxygen rather than the gas itself, which is methane, is because these gases do not directly harm the body, but rather they remove the things that benefit your body, that being oxygen. What methane does is that it essentially deprives you of oxygen over time, and if it is to a hazardous extent, it will suffocate you to a critical or fatal degree.
If humans were to work to eliminate all methane emissions, it would require all of us to stop raising cattle, which would mean that steak and milk would be unavailable. Many different types of fabrics would also be unavailable, as the production of those also produces methane. All vehicles, such as cars, trains, planes, and ships, would have to become electric, and various types of industrial processes would cease to exist. All traditional garbage and waste would have to be fully recycled, and crucially, we would no longer be able to use heating or air conditioners, which would unfortunately make many cities uninhabitable. The degree that humans would have to change to adapt to reduce zero methane emissions would carry significant risks and be practically unfeasible.
Canada is making advancements in reducing methane emissions through regulations, clear-cut information about methane emissions that helps with advancements against these issues, help from other entities, and etc. In fact, our nation, Canada, is on track to reduce methane emissions by 35% before 2030. This percentage is in accordance to what levels were in 2020. Canada is doing whatever possible. As of right now, governments are investing in commitments that are actually significantly reducing methane emissions in provinces like Alberta. Percentages of 75% is what is being reduced in terms of methane emissions. This percentage is in accordance to what methane emissions were in 2014.
As a regular Canadian citizen whose voice cannot be heard individually, we cannot single-handedly save the entire world by ourselves. However, every day, step by step, we can make small changes to our own lives which could improve the environment around us in the long term. These actions include reducing the use of cars and instead biking or taking the bus to school or work, using less air conditioning during the summer and less heating during the winter. And finally, purchasing more environmentally friendly products like different clothes and maybe even vegetables. Anything can really be done to change the world, even if it is bit by bit.